Another award show can now be found on YouTube. Isn't that the way it always goes? As soon as it's broadcasted, you can find it immediately on YouTube. Dave Morris alongside Brandy McDonnell. We're talking about the Country Music Awards, which aired Wednesday night on ABC. You live blogged, you live tweeted, you covered it from start to finish.
I'm very sleepy
And now today we're giving a recap of that.
We are.
Behind us, we're looking at Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake. From what I'm seeing on social media and the websites, various places, this was one of the highlights of last night's award show.
I heard from a lot of people say this was a highlight of any award show that they'd seen in recent memory. You know, it's a big deal at these award shows to have these collaborations that you can't see anywhere else, you know, and that's always a big goal with all of them. The Grammys, the CMA Awards, everybody wants to put together something that you can't see anywhere else, so you'll tune in. Well, Chris Stapleton, he won the New Artist Award, but he's been around for like 15 years as a songwriter.
This is like a beef of yours, right?
Yeah, it is a beef of mine. He crushed the 20-year-olds in the category, the poor children. But you know, he's a songwriter. He's been around for years. He's written some huge hits, and then he was with a band called the Steel Drivers, which is a bluegrass band. And then his debut album as a solo artist was Traveler. It won Album of the Year. He won New Artist of the Year. He won Male Vocalist of the Year. So he won 3 of 3, three nominations. Awards, yeah. 3 nominations, 3 wins. But he's good friends with Timberlake. Timberlake has been a big supporter of him. He's from Memphis. A lot of people forget that he's a Southern soul boy.
And he showed some of that off last night, I believe, after this song, which is Tennessee Whiskey, he segued into another Memphis song.
Yeah, Drink You Away. And they performed 2 songs together, had the crowd on their feet the whole time. People were singing along. Lots of people on social media were saying, can we just like send out a press release with the winners' names and then just let these guys sing the rest of the 3 hours? I mean,
well, both have tremendous voices. Both are very talented.
Very talented. And it was a great, they had a whole herd of those sort of Memphis Southern Delta Blues backup singer ladies that were back there that were just belting with them. And so it was a great performance, just absolutely electric. And it was an interesting night at the CMA Awards because you sort of had this strange coalition of people like Chris that are more of a shift back toward traditional country music. He won 3 awards, but then the Entertainer of the Year was Luke Bryan. The Duo of the Year was Florida Georgia Line. These are much more of this sort of bro country.
I was about to say
kind of
bro
guys.
Country, right?
So you had those guys winning a couple awards. You had Chris Stapleton win 3. Miranda Lambert won Female Vocalist for the 6th year. She's probably more along the lines of a more traditional singer than somebody like Sam Hunt or somebody like that. So it was an interesting night in terms of representing a lot of the different areas of country music that we see gaining popularity or into play right now. So
from the Oklahoma angles, 2 winners. You mentioned Miranda Lambert.
Right. Miranda Lambert, who maintains her Tishomingo ties. She had lots of people from the Chickasaw County area that was rooting for her on Twitter, I saw. She won Female Vocalist, like I said, 6th time. And so she's, that's a pretty big deal. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty impressive. She sang a new song of hers, one of my favorite songs on her Platinum album called Bathroom Sink. It was an interesting choice. She didn't speak very long. She maintained a really low profile throughout the evening. It's not hard to figure out why, but she didn't
come
to
the headlines. She was all over social media, or people were talking about her.
Yeah, people were talking about her. People were talking about her and Blake a lot. Neither one of them went to the press room, anything like that, so they stayed a pretty low profile. And Carrie and Brad, Carrie Underwood and Brad Paisley as the hosts kind of did a little bit of a workaround, addressed the issue of their divorce in a joke, but kind of took some of the sting out of it. They actually introduced 2 individuals who had broken up, that their split had rocked the entertainment world, and they introduced Kermit and Miss Piggy. and Brad said, and on a completely unrelated note, hi Blake. I mean, that was kind of the joke. So they sort of in around it.
You acknowledge it, you get some laughs out of it, and you move on.
And then they moved on. So they softballed him a little bit. And like I said, both of those 2, compared to past years where they won so many awards combined and they were always rooting each other on and things like that, you got a lot of screen time with Blake and Miranda in the past. This year, a little less of the Blake and Miranda. They both performed on the show. Blake performed his new hit, Gunna, and he didn't win any awards. Chris Stapleton took all of those, and Luke Bryan took whatever was left. So
the other Oklahoma angle here, Music Video of the Year.
Yeah, Maddie and Tae. We talked about them in our preview video. They were a couple of the 20-year-olds that Chris Stapleton steamrollered in the New Artist of the Year category, but they are 2 very talented songwriters, Tae Dye from Ada, Maddie Marlowe from Sugarland, Texas, and their breakout hit last year was Girl in a Country Song. It was, that video's gotten almost 28 million hits. It's sort of took the bro country idea of girls in short shorts on tailgates, and it put the guys in short shorts on tailgates and kind of put bro country in its place a little bit. So that was exciting. That was an appropriate person to win that award because that video did make a lot of waves and really was a breakout hit for those two. So
all right, to wrap it up, the Country Music Awards, which aired Wednesday night on ABC, the highlight for you was?
Well, it's hard to top the Chris Stapleton, Justin Timberlake moment. For the sake of my kids, it was fun seeing Fall Out Boy on the show. I have a couple kids that are real Fall Out Boy fans, and they performed. And it's always, it can be a little bit dodgy when you do those performances where you bring a rock band or a rock guy or a pop person, somebody who's so obviously not country, and you bring them in and you try and pair them up with a country performer. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. They performed with Thomas Rhett, and they had pretty in-sync voices. I mean, their voices work well together, and they performed their song Uma Thurman, which was not a country song, but people seemed to enjoy it, and they performed Thomas Rhett's songs Crash and Burn. So my kids were excited to see Fall Out Boy on there. They're not country music fans, so they were excited, and they seemed to pull it off okay.
Very nice. Well, I pulled her off the entertainment desk. She was still blogging about last night's award show.
Yeah.
So be sure to follow Brandy online, the BAM blog. Follow her on Twitter as well. Newsok.com, and of course, entertainment coverage in the Oklahoman.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.